As of July 18, 2025, the geopolitical landscape is marked by significant conflicts, diplomatic efforts, and emerging risks. The recent airstrike on Gaza's Catholic Church, the BRICS summit outcomes, the Israel-Iran conflict, and Red Sea disruptions highlight the complexity of global dynamics. This response provides a clear overview for laymen, followed by a detailed survey note for deeper insight. On July 17, 2025, an Israeli airstrike hit Gaza's Holy Family Catholic Church, killing 3 and wounding 10, including a priest. Israel expressed, deep regret, and international reactions included calls for ceasefire and condemnation. The BRICS summit, held July 6 and 7, 2025 in Rio de Janeiro, saw Indonesia join, bringing membership to 11, and adopted 126 commitments on global governance, artificial intelligence, and climate change. A 12-day Israel-Iran conflict in June 2025 ended with a United States-mediated ceasefire on June 23, involving airstrikes and civilian casualties, signaling a shift in regional warfare. Houthi attacks in the Red Sea resumed in early July 2025, disrupting supply chains and affecting global trade. These events underscore ongoing tensions and humanitarian crises, with diplomatic efforts like BRICS aiming for inclusivity, while conflicts like Gaza and the Red Sea highlight vulnerabilities in global stability. The complexity suggests varied international responses and potential for both escalation and cooperation. This survey note provides a detailed examination of the geopolitical landscape as of 2:22 in the afternoon, Hong Kong time, on July 18, 2025, integrating recent developments with broader trends. It aims to offer a professional and thorough analysis, suitable for stakeholders seeking in-depth understanding. The global geopolitical environment remains volatile, shaped by ongoing conflicts, diplomatic initiatives, and emerging risks. Research suggests several regions are experiencing significant crises, each with profound humanitarian and geopolitical implications. Ukraine. The war continues, with accusations of Russia increasing chemical weapon use. Western aid remains critical, but the new Trump administration's approach could be pivotal. Gaza. The situation is one of the most devastating humanitarian crises, with data indicating more women and children killed in the past year than in any other conflict over the last 2 decades. On July 17, 2025, an Israeli airstrike hit the Holy Family Catholic Church in Deir al-Balah, Gaza Strip, killing 3 and wounding at least 10, including Reverend Gabriel Romanelli, the parish priest. The victims included a 60-year-old janitor and an 84-year-old woman. The church compound, sheltering hundreds including Christians, Muslims, and children with disabilities, was damaged. Israel described it as an accident, with fragments from a shell hitting the church mistakenly, and expressed deep regret while investigating. Sudan, after 21 months of conflict, is now considered one of the worst places to live globally. The fighting between the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces has caused a massive humanitarian crisis. Meanwhile, the Democratic Republic of Congo faces a really protracted crisis too, due to armed conflict, economic instability, climate shocks, and, disease epidemics. The Central Sahel, which includes Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, is experiencing some pretty high levels of violence. These military-led states have quit the ECOWAS bloc, which is, fueling further tensions and making regional cooperation even more complicated. In the Middle East and North Africa, there are over 45 armed conflicts still ongoing, with Syria being the most affected. Over in Asia, there are 21 armed conflicts, including in Afghanistan, India, Myanmar, Pakistan, and the Philippines, making the region a continuing hotspot. So, Red Sea, recent developments show Houthi militants resuming attacks in early July 2025, ending a 6-month hiatus. And then shifting to Libya, Italy and Greece have raised alarms over growing security threats, with concerns about Turkish and Russian involvement. A significant escalation occurred in June 2025, with a 12-day conflict between Israel and Iran from June 13th to June 24th. Israeli airstrikes targeted Iranian military and nuclear sites, including nuclear scientists, likely disrupting Iran's research capabilities. Iran responded with retaliatory strikes, and the conflict involved psychological warfare, propaganda, and disinformation, aided by AI. A ceasefire was announced on June 23, 2025, mediated by US President Donald Trump, with Iran's state media confirming the deal. Civilian casualties were reported on both sides, highlighting the humanitarian impact. Geopolitical fragmentation, fueled by events like COVID-19, the Ukraine war, and US-China tensions, is increasing, with blocs like BRICS seeking alternatives to Western-led institutions. Cyber warfare, well, cyber attacks are becoming more frequent and severe, representing a new frontier in global conflict, with state actors and non-state actors leveraging digital tools. So, AI and geopolitics, well, AI is quickly becoming a competitive domain, with countries racing to innovate and regulate. This is really impacting both national security and economic strategies. And then, when it comes to global elections, there's this global election supercycle that's just adding even more complexity, with political shifts influencing foreign policy, especially in major powers like the United States and the European Union. Now let's talk about the NATO summit. The Netherlands is set to host the NATO summit in The Hague, and it's likely going to focus on Ukraine and transatlantic security. Moving on to the BRICS summit, the 17th BRICS summit was held on July 6th and 7th, 2025 in Rio de Janeiro, and it really was a significant event. The summit adopted 126 commitments, covering areas like global governance, finance, health, AI, and climate change. Indonesia has formally joined as a full member, bringing the total to 11. Invitations were extended to 6 new members, and 5 of those officially joined, including Indonesia, while Saudi Arabia has yet to accept. This expansion honestly reflects BRICS's push for a more inclusive global order. The G20 summit, which will be hosted by South Africa in Johannesburg, is expected to address, some pretty significant global economic and climate challenges. For APEC, South Korea has chosen Building a Sustainable Tomorrow, Connect, Innovate, Prosper as the theme for APEC 2025, really focusing on economic cooperation across the Asia-Pacific. When it comes to US-China relations, well, tensions and competition are still very much present, and they continue to influence global trade, technology, and security policies. The European Union is currently grappling with budget issues, its relationship with the United States, and of course, the ongoing war in Ukraine, all of which have, pretty big implications for its global role. Over in the Indo-Pacific, India is facing a two-front threat, with Pakistan leveraging Chinese military technology, which just adds to the already high regional tensions. The Artemis II mission, scheduled for no earlier than September 2025, marks the first crewed lunar mission since 1972. This really symbolizes some remarkable advancements in space exploration.